Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Jesse Boats from the 19th hole. We're going to do a quick little pro and expert guy here for you all. Wasn't going to do one, but decided just to go ahead and do one really quickly for you all. I know it's only one day of the tournament, till the tournament, but hey, I know a lot of people have just now switched gears for the Easter Open Tournament, so I figured this would be a good content video for you all that are still kind of wondering different advantages and different ways to play each of these holes, and then just some of the details that go along with the holes like club, ball, elevation, stuff like that. So I figured I'd put together this quick guide for you all right here, pro and expert. So here we go. First we got hole number 1, and hole number 1 is a par 4. And this hole right here, playing with a plus 20% off the tee box. I think in the pro and the expert, really the only way is to play your shot right here. You're going to skip your shot over the bunker, land it there on the edge, and then roll it to the hole. In my opinion, the best way to play this hole is with either a katana or maybe a kingmaker ball. Club-wise, driver, you got to go with a driver with backspin. So you really got to look at the extra mile, higher level, the Thor, or maybe the higher level APOC, if you do have that. I think the Thor and the extra mile will definitely be the best clubs of choice for this hole, and the ball with a lot of side spin. For this shot, you do want to go with about 5 to 6 bars of backspin, max left spin. And then curls depend on what kind of a wind we have. If we have a right to left wind push, you don't necessarily have to worry as much about the curl, although a little tiny bit may be good to use. If we have any kind of a left to right wind, though, that's when you have to start using more curls. So definitely keep that in mind. If you have some sort of a crazy headwind or something like that in the expert, then I would really just kind of abandon trying to put that ball in the hole and just try to get that shot around the green somewhere. If you get it on the green, awesome. But if it's off to the edge of the green for an easy chip, then that's definitely okay. What I like to do, though, for this shot is I like to aim my shot with the edge of my ball guide just over that bunker's edge. And if that requires me pushing in to overpower and then drawing my shot back for the wind adjustment according to whatever amount of rings you have to use, that's the way I like to play this hole. So hopefully you all can definitely get this one dialed in, because I do feel like this is going to be definitely a must eagle hole. And when the playthrough comes through, or you see me playing live stream, have a much better idea of how to exactly play this hole, because then we'll know the actual tournament wind. All right, we got hole number 2 now is next, par 5. For this one, we'll play a plus 10% elevation change off the tee box. I like going with a power ball if you want to play it left. Even maybe a Titan or a power 4 ball would definitely be needed. Playing left is really good if you have side wind or tailwind. If you have some sort of a headwind, then you got to play to the right a little bit more safely. And in that case, then you may not need to use such a high power ball. Then you may want to back off to like a kingmaker or something like that with a little bit more wind resistant instead. Extra mile APOC are good drivers to use for this hole because they do pack that little extra punch. Unless you have a really high level Thor with a good amount of topspin and that little extra power, extra mile and APOC will definitely be the ticket drivers for this hole, in my opinion. So if you play it to the left, you're going to be trying to aim your shot somewhere in this zone right here. You are going to combine that with topspin and a little bit of right spin to get that ball to bounce over this water, and then hopefully roll up to somewhere in this zone right here. There is kind of a right to left bounce, so that's why, or there's kind of a right to left bounce. That's why you use a little bit of right spin to kind of counteract that bounce. If you do play it to the right side, you will be jumping before the water here as well, and either be playing to this zone right here, or if you want to play a very risky high top spin and right spin shot, you can maybe possibly get it up into this zone right here with some sort of a hop through and a roll up through the by those bunkers and that left edge of the rough. Definitely a lot more risky, though, if you try to play that shot very aggressively. I would definitely just recommend playing it safe, though, if you're going to end up playing it to the right side. That's just, my opinion on that shot. So if you're going to play it to the left, for your second shot, I would definitely recommend a sniper. Oh, there we go. My foot slid down. Accuracy and ball guide is definitely a plus for this shot. You'll be laying it right there. possibly rolling it out to the hole. Definitely a good albatross chance right there. The reason I like the sniper is, like I said, the accuracy and the ball guide, the two things right there that help make those albatrosses even better. I like to try to take that shot from medium range, medium distance when I do set up that shot. I found that that's a pretty decent location and a pretty good distance. If you play to the right side, you want to go with a club with some curl and power. You could go with the big dog Cataclysm, even a Guardian possibly for the shot. You'll be laying your shot somewhere in here with right to left curl, left spin, and either a little bit top spin or maybe a little bit of backspin depending on what kind of a wind push you have for the second shot. But basically, you just want to take your shot up into this zone right here. Possibly roll it onto the green, most likely just be on the edge of the green for a simple chip, though, for the eagle save. But if you want to play the albatross, hopefully we'll get tailwind or sidewind, and we'll have a chance to play it to that left side. I think that is definitely the albatross way to go if you do want to go for that albatross. So that is the second shot. Don't play the second shot with any kind of elevation adjustment. 0% in my opinion for both of these shots for your second shot, but plus 10% for the drive. All right, we got hole 3 here, par 3. Pretty straightforward and simple par 3. You're going to be laying your shot up in that zone right there. Play plus 20% for your drive here. As far as the ball selection goes, I would go with a power 1 ball. So either a Navigator, if you have a wind resistance 4 power 1 ball, that would also be a definite option for this hole. For the pro expert, you're either going to be going with a Goliath or hopefully a sniper, I would say. And that's really all going to depend on what kind of a wind we have. If we have some sort of a headwind, then you may be looking more, sniper. If we have a really strong tailwind, then you may be looking more of a Goliath for that type of a shot. We'll just have to wait and see. As far as the spins go, you're going to be using somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 bars of backspin, whichever way you go, sniper, wood club, or long iron for this shot. There is kind of a slight left to right slope here on this green. The green does slope back to the hole on the back of the fairway. So you want to get your shot right up here along the edge and then hopefully roll back into the hole with that nice left to right slope. Definitely a very aceable hole. All right. Next hole, we got hole number 4. And this is a par 4. We'll play a plus 10% off the tee here. Kingmaker ball would definitely be a good ball to use on this hole. As far as your club selection goes, it's really to depend on how you want to play your shot. Do you want to play it safe into this zone right here, or do you want to try to get a little bit riskier and get up into this zone for a much easier dunk shot? If you're going to play it safe, you can go with any club, quarterback, extra mile, Thor, APOC, any of those will get it there. If you do want to go a little bit riskier, then you need to play it with a little bit more power and spin and go with APOC, Thor, extra mile. If you're going to play the little bit riskier shot, I would definitely say you're probably going to play your drive a little bit farther along the right-hand edge, bouncing over that rough, bouncing right there on the fairway, and then rolling it up to that next landing zone. For your second shot, minus 10%. So instead of adding to your win total, you actually subtract from your win total. If you play the conservative shot from the back here, you'd be playing some sort of a backspin shot. Take your long iron with the best backspin you got. For most people, that'll be the Saturn, maybe the Tsunami, just depending on what level you're playing and what level your clubs are upgraded to. If you're playing from the front section right there, then you're most likely looking at the Thorn Dunk, and minus 10% definitely on that dunk. And good luck to you all. The risky part about that dunk is if you do hit the pole, you possibly could hit and backspin back into this bunker area. So always keep that in mind. But the backspin shot's a pretty safe shot right there with the Saturn. So if you were pretty good at spinning that ball back, then that may be the safer play than the dunk. But I would say the dunk's probably the higher percentage play. So if you want to try to get that eagle. All right, hole number 5. This is the This is the hole that wasn't the hole halfway through the week, but then became the hole at the end of the week. Yeah, a little bit odd. Playdemic first released the announcement for the Easter Open, and this was not hole 5. You can go back and watch my information video, and you can very clearly see that their hole 5 changed at some point during the week. So they played the old switcheroo on us. I'm not really a big fan of this hole, honestly. It's a par 5. And really, what you got to do on this hole is you got to blast it down the fairway. Plus 10% on the drive. And the name of the drive is to see how far can you get the ball. If you can get this ball down into this zone right here, you're going to be set up very nicely for your second shot. Most people are going to end up somewhere in this zone right here, I would guess. And then from that spot right there, it's a little bit more difficult of a second shot to play. You definitely want to bring your driver with the max amount of distance that you can get, whether it's distance and topspin combined. You can kind of look at your drivers and see which one is better and is going to get you the most yardage. And this is definitely a hole where you want to pull out a ball with power. So Titan ball for starts. If you got power 4, power 5 ball, those also may be options down the road if you feel like you can make the shot to the green a little bit easier with a higher power ball. I would definitely recommend that, especially later in the week, in the weekend. You definitely want to make sure you get your eagle here. I would say this is not much of an albatross chance, but you never know. Someone may get lucky with that roll on the green and get that albatross to drop, but I would not count on it. I'll go with a little bit of right spin on the drive, about 2 bars of right spin, just to keep that fairway true. It does slope a little bit right to left, so you want that right spin to kind of counter that. For your second shot, with your big dog or cataclysm, if you get far enough the fairway, maybe even the sniper, but it's going to be going, this way right here. You're going to rely on topspin and right spin in some instances to try to roll that ball up through the neck, and then either you're going to have the correct spin and curl, and your ball's going to hit the green and roll to the right and then down the hill toward the hole, or it's going to come and go left and then stop right in this zone right here for a very long ass putt, and it's a very difficult putt with the slope of that green. I've taken it several times, I've made it several times, I've missed it several times. Trust me, it's not a putt that you want to be finding yourself in range of to make an eagle. Definitely don't put yourself in that position. I would rather be short of the green and be chipping at the hole for an eagle than trying to make that putt from the left edge of the green. But if you can find a way to coordinate your shot so that you can get that left to right roll from the midway point of the green to the right, then definitely do that for the easy eagle. Now, for some reason, if we have really crazy winds and we can't put our drive too far up and we can't reach for our second shot, maybe we have a crazy headwind for our second shot, an expert, then you will be playing your shot up to this front right area of the green. And then from there, you'll be playing either long iron backspin or rough bump at this location right here. So either rough bump or long iron backspin. Those are your options if you have some sort of a crazy headwind second shot, and it's impossible to go for the green in 2. So 0% for your shots right here towards the green. If you got to play your shot up here, then this will be a downhill minus 10. Oh, not minus, plus 10%. So that is only if you play your shot right here, it's plus 10%. These shots over here are just played pretty much straight, 0% change. So just play whatever the wind says to play. All right, good. All right, we're ready to move on. Hole number 6, par 3. Oh, this is a fun par 3. Okay, plus 10% is going to be your adjustment off the tee box. Trying to land your shot on the pad. It seems pretty easy, right? Just land the shot on the pad, right? The thing is, it really depends on what kind of a wind we get, whether or not we're going to use the wood or we're going to use the long iron. And it may be in one division we use one, and the other division we use the other. So I'm going to give you the information for each of them. So I would definitely say going with the Quasar Katana are good ball choices for this hole. You may want to use a wind resistance ball. So if you have a level 1 wind resistance ball, you could definitely use that. And I think I'm wrong. I think rookie is the only division where you have a chance to go between clubs. I think pro and expert were safe with our wood club no matter what. So scratch what I said at the beginning. In pro and expert, you're pretty safe either with your wood club. I would go sniper or guardian for your wood clubs, whichever one you prefer most. Now, the way we're playing this shot is to bounce off the island, looking for a bounce right about in there, and then rolling it up to the hole, hopefully. If you have some sort of a side wind, we're not going to go with any kind of topspin. We're not going to use topspin or backspin. We're just going to use our side spin, and then we're just going to try to predict the actual wind push for that hole. So you may have to adjust, 1 square, 2 squares left, 2 squares right, and that's just something that you have to kind of key in, during the actual tournament play and during the week. So that's the way you play crosswind. If you get some sort of a tailwind, I just add 1 backspin on the shot. If you get a headwind, just go with like a half a bar of backspin on the shot and then play it the same way, using side spin and then playing the offset for the wind. All right, that was pretty simple. Next hole, hole number 7. All right, hole 7, par 4. All right, plus 10% off the tee box. Pretty simple, right? As far as your driver goes, I would go with Titan Kingmaker. It really doesn't matter. I kind of like the Kingmaker. I like the reduced wind effect for the second shot, but it really doesn't matter which one you go. Go with your driver. It's going to get you up into this zone right here. Your shot's going to bounce somewhere in there and then roll up. Do be careful with the amount of topspin you use, depending on what driver you have. Some drivers have crazy high topspin numbers, and if you overpower that sucker just the wrong amount, your topspin will carry you into the rough bunker in this area right here. Definitely avoid doing that to screw up your second shot. So here's what we go. You have 2 options for your second shot. Either you can play a shot over here, or you can go with a rough bump. If you're going with a rough bump, I definitely recommend sniper. If you're going to go to the left side, then you can go with the guardian or the sniper. Either one of those will work. So those are your 2 paths for the shot. The second shot is going to be a minus 20% if you play the rough bump or the curl shot. So remember, minus 20% for this shot right there. For the rough bump, I go with 2 to 3 bars of backspin, and make sure to have that ball guide lined up at least a little bit through the hole. For the left shot, I'm going to go with 3 to 4 bars of backspin, right spin, and then also right curl. You want that ball to come in, you want it to hit, bounce towards the green, hit, and then roll to the right towards the hole. Definitely a very low percentage very low percentage eagle chance on this hole playing to the left side, but it's usually a little bit safer of a shot than the rough bump. But the rough bump's definitely the higher chance for that eagle. And as far as the risk for the rough bump, it really is going to depend on the wind that we get for our second shot. If we get some sort of a side wind where we're adjusting that ball along the edge, along that rough line right here, then it's a very safe shot. If you get some sort of a tailwind or a headwind, then you gotta start messing with the elevation changes on the adjustment, especially if you start adjusting back into that bunker. And that's another reason why I like the Kingmaker ball. Just because it will allow me to, cut down that wind a little bit. And I don't know, this may not even be a bad hole for a ball that has extra wind resistance as well. Maybe if you have like a power 2 wind resistance 4 ball or something like that. That may not be too bad of an option here, because even with that ball, your drive down the fairway will be fine. You can get it down the fairway. Usually we don't use those wind resistance balls because we need to use the wind to achieve the landing location for our drive. But on this hole right here, I think the ball that we select should be more dependent on our second shot and what we're going to play our second shot as, okay? All right. Next hole is hole number 8. All right, moving right along here. This is hopefully informational for y'all and quick. All right. So hole 8, par 3, plus 20% off the tee box. And this is one of those holes where it's very wind dependent. So they're definitely going to depend on what kind of a wind we have. So if we have some sort of a tailwind, you're probably going to be using your wood, laying it right here. If you have some sort of a headwind though, or maybe a side wind, we'll be probably landing our driver right about in there. Okay. As far as the driver goes, you definitely want a driver that has backspin. So your Thor or your quarterback or even your rocket are going to be your options for your driver if you play a driver. For the wood club, it's probably going to be your sniper is what you want to go with if you play that shot, then have a tailwind. I would go with Kingmaker Katana Ball for this hole, just because you do want that side spin. The side spin is definitely a must for this hole, so definitely keep that in mind. For the sniper shot, you want to use about at least 4 bars of backspin. You want to aim that ball guide just beyond the fringe of the green, and then you do want to use a little bit of curl depending on what kind of a wind you have. If you have left to right wind, curl is probably not needed. But if you have more of a right to left wind, then you do want to use a little bit of curl to kind of counteract that wind effect a little bit. If you're going with the driver, you're definitely going to use a good amount of backspin with the driver. Max backspin, and then you're going to use your right side spin as you can. You do want to make sure that you do offset that shot for the wind push. So if you have a left to right wind, then you do want to offset the edge of that ball guide to the left side of the hole. If you have more of a right to left wind push, then you do want to make sure you offset that ball onto more to the right side of the hole to kind of prepare and be ready for that extra push from the wind effect. So, all right, that is hole number 8. And we said 20%. Yes, 20% downhill. All right, hole number 9, our last and final hole. I'm not really, honestly, a big fan of this hole as the finishing hole, but it is what it is. In a perfect world, we get tailwind, and we can go for our shot and land it into this zone right here, where we bounce it here, or even possibly up here. Hopefully, we can bounce it here. Our second bounce will be over the rough and land it up there. Possibly, if we have side wind, we might have to go with the triple bounce, where we bounce it, back here, and then up near the edge of the rough, and then over. If you have a headwind, then you're going to be needing to land your shot probably in this zone right here. So those are definitely your different scenarios for your wind. If you have headwind, you got to play it short to the end of that first fairway. If you have a tailwind, you can play the hop farther up the fairway and then your second hop over into the second fairway. If you have a tailwind, you can play your first hop on the first fairway towards the end and then your second hop on the second fairway. If you have more of a side wind, then you might have to go with the triple hop where you land it farther back on the fairway, your second bounces at the edge of the fairway, and your third hop is on the second fairway. Bit of a tongue twister, right? Okay. So for your second shot, if you have to play it short, you're going to be playing with the wood club, and your shot will be going over to this area right here. That's where you will play that shot. You go with about 3 to 5 bars of topspin and left spin to try to direct that ball towards the green that way. Hopefully get you a nice rollout. If you are on the second fairway, hopefully you had a nice tailwind and your drive is pretty far up the fairway. We'll just say up in this zone right here. You'll have a long iron shot to the hole. You'll land your shot just before the green, and you'll play that shot with about 2 to 3 bars of backspin and plus 5%. So if you're anywhere on the second fairway, it's plus 5%. If you are from the front fairway, it's going to be plus 10% for your change. So just keep that in mind. Man, it's very scribbly on this hole. Lots of different options and different things to talk about. If you do find yourself very short on the second fairway, then you may, if you find yourself in this zone right here, then you may have to go with a wood club to the hole. Hopefully you can get it to the green. If you can't get it all the way to the green, you have to bounce it before the green. But that's definitely an option. If you can take that driver all the way to the green, I would definitely use backspin and then try to aim that shot. Usually the way they have the wind on this hole is you have to play your shot left to the hole to play the extra wind push, because it is you are shooting from an upper tier down to a lower tier for the shot. So anyways, all right. So things to remember: if you're playing your shots from here, it's plus 5% extra adjustment. If you're playing your shot from here, it's a plus 10% extra adjustment, and we play a plus 10% adjustment off the tee box. Okay, so those are the elevations to remember. All right, y'all. Thank you all very much. This has been Jesse Both from the 19th hole, and definitely been a pleasure. Hopefully, you all can learn a thing or two from this quick pro and expert guide. I know it's one day before the tournament starts, but hey, when you have a mini tournament and it lasts till the wee hours of the morning on Saturday, and you got 5 tornadoes all around you on Saturday night, and you're trying to get your mini tournament in, yeah, the schedule gets a little bit tighter. So hopefully y'all have a lot of success on your Easter Open Tournament, and y'all have a good day. God bless.